I want to get into this story with Joe Rogan and Ice Cube. So, Ice Cube did announce about a week or so ago that he was going to do a podcast tour. So apparently he's already started that and he's gone on to Joe Rogan's show. He's been very vocal, obviously, about the media, people being gatekeepers, and him being told that he pretty much has to align himself within the Democratic Party or he's hurting some type of movement, so to speak. So he has called out gatekeepers and he said that he's different. This particular clip with Ice Cube and Joe Rogan, this was interesting to me. I was not aware that this happened. But Ice Cube is going to talk to Joe Rogan about something that happened when he was a part of NWA and the connection to the FBI. Listen to this.
The Joe Rogan experience.
The day we got the FBI letter.
What was the FBI letter?
We got an FBI letter. They sent the letter to Priority Records saying one guy was like, I'm, part of this department of the FBI, and we're very concerned with this record called Straight Outta Compton. You guys got a song on there called Fuck the Police, and we think this song could encourage, people to go against law enforcement, and blah, blah, this and blah, blah, that. And basically, we'd like it if you guys took it off the shelf, you know what I'm saying, to that tip. So, they call.
Pause there for just a second. We'll go back just a little bit because I only cut him off like right mid-sentence. Pause there for just a second. So the FBI at one point in time contacted the record label that Ice Cube and the rest of the members of NWA were a part of because they had issue with some of the songs, one in particular, F the Police. So they were acting in a way as a sort of censorship. Now, we talk about the FBI's involvement with censorship in reference to the Twitter files. But remember, NWA, this group came out like back in the 80s. And they're not the first ones. They're not alone. We know that they had issues with MLK. We know they were involved with that. We talk about JFK. We talk about MLK. We talk about Malcolm X. All these things where the FBI was responsible for not just killing revolutionary leaders, but also silencing them. And even someone like Aretha Franklin, believe it or not, even Aretha Franklin was targeted by the FBI. And she wasn't saying a song called F the Police. So this is just another example of the FBI putting their noses into places that really go against the First Amendment. Let's go on. There's more.
And blah, blah, that. And basically, we'd like it if you guys took it off the shelf, you know what I'm saying, to that tip. So, they call us up there, they panicking. We don't know why they want us to come. They're just like, man, you got to come here. We got to talk to you. We get up there and it's like, pull out this letter, FBI. And we're like, he's like, man, do you know what this is? This fucking agent, he sent me this letter, and, they was all like nervous and shit. And we're looking like, a letter? That's all you get? They're not going to come in here and try to fuck with us? Like, they're not going to, arrest us, cuff us, rough us up, none of that?
A strongly worded letter.
And we're like, y'all scared over a fucking letter? Come back to South Central with us. You know what I mean? Deal with the sheriffs down there. You know what I mean? They do way more than give you a letter. So we felt that it was like, Easy was like, we're gonna be big as fuck after this. You know what I'm saying? But the guys at the record company, this was the first time they ever dealt with like pushback. First time the government probably even knew they existed. So they were freaked out, and we were like, okay, we was looking for them to raid our houses and shit. Like, damn, because we done seen the battle ram, we done seen them run up in people's houses on dope charges, whatever, especially in the late 80s, early 90s. That's like they got a kick out of just running up in people's houses and shit. So we were like looking for that to come in the next, next few weeks. We was looking like, oh, they about to hit us, and it never happened. So we was like, what's the issue? What's the problem? Why
So it was
everybody
just
so
that
scared?
letter.
It was a scare tactic, I believe. This was an effort for the FBI to try to scare them. Oh, let's send them this letter and maybe they'll stop making that music. Stop making that gangster rap. That's how some people were like back then, like, stop saying these songs, damn it. Don't you sing that song. Meanwhile, it's okay for other musicians to, I can say it on here. Let's just say there have been other musicians who have done things on stage at their concerts with there was no censorship of that. It just depends on what you're saying and who the message is directed towards. Because the message was directed towards law enforcement, they had a problem with it. That's really what this was about.
And that was it?
It's just that letter. And then we made the letter public, and they kind of just backed off and shit. And then it became this big story of, the FBI hates this group. I think we was on the cover, like one of those, New York magazines, and it was like, the FBI hates this group.
Yeah, look at this.
Yeah.
And that actually just makes them more popular. Especially with younger people. Younger people be like, really? Let's see what they're all about.
Yeah, the FBI hates this man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Easy was right.
Yeah, he was. That's the letter.
Wow. Look at that. A song recorded by the rep group.
I'll show you the letter because I'll show it to you close up. So we'll just fast forward here. Here we go.
Body Count did a song called Cop Killer. And yeah, it was a time when we grew up real fast. We had to understand that, this is bigger than hip hop. And we gotta stand up for what we know is true and right. It's like, we're not making shit up, go down, I've seen guys tell cops, it's like, take off that gun, take off that badge, and we can knuckle it up in the streets and do it like men. And so, we knew that sentiment was out there where people was really like, yo, if you're gonna act like a thug, let's thug it out. Or you're gonna act like an officer, then we'll respect your authority. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was a lot of cops that we respected that came through and they would treat us like, real humans, not like, suspects. You know what I mean? You don't want anybody come through just treating you like a suspect. You ain't out here doing nothing. These dudes, so we knew some dudes that would come through and talk to us, tell us, y'all need to watch out, be careful, you know what I'm saying? And, do anybody know something that happened around the corner and all these little stuff? And we like, nah. But they was respectful, and we respected their authority. Then there was others that would come through, look at you crazy, harass you, We was kids on the bikes. We saw one day they came. We like 8, 9 years old, man. We on our bikes, got our bikes laid down. We made a ramp. We all kicking on the grass, resting, looking at our bikes like they're fucking motorcycles and shit. Like, And man, sheriffs get the corner, came all up on the grass, and like get against the car, all that, bullshit. And we kids. They know we kids sitting on the bikes, man. What you think we did? You know what I'm saying? Like rode on somebody's grass. I mean, what you think we out here doing?
But even as a child, they still see you as a threat. And that's the thing, like that's a big part of the problem is that right from the get-go, they see you as a threat. Now, one of the things that Ice Cube mentioned is that there were police officers that would come through and they were actually, respectful, and they would try to, tell them, stay away from this part, stay away from that part, that kind of thing. But one of the things that stood out to me is he said they came through. And this is just another reminder of people that part of the problem that we have with policing in this country is that there are police officers policing neighborhoods and communities that they don't live in, they don't reside in, they don't know the people, they don't know the culture. You know, they don't realize that so-and-so standing on the corner, he might be a little drunk, but he's not a threat to anybody. And so I think that's a big part of policing where they went wrong. You know, if you live in Boston, you may be familiar with Boston school teachers. Well, to teach in Boston, at least it was this way when I moved here in the beginning. I think it's still this way. They had a rule where you have to live there, right? You can't say, I'm going to teach in Boston public schools, but I'm going to live in Newton. Like, it's not supposed to work that way. You're supposed to be among the community that you're teaching with good reason, right? So now apply that to police officers. You have police officers going into neighborhoods that they don't live in. You have police officers that live in neighborhoods that may be pretty well off financially, and they're sending them into police inner city Black neighborhoods where they're scared the moment they walk in. They don't know the people, they don't know the community, and they automatically see you as a threat. So that is a big part of the problem. That was just something that stood out to me when he said they would come in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
What was it like when the album came out, like interacting with cops?
most of them was cool, actually.
Some
Most of them, most of them said they listened to the song. In the movie, we get ran out of Detroit. Like, they ran us off stage because we sung the song. A lot of undercover police, you know, throwing M80s and shit on the stage.
Really?
Yeah. So we thought they were shooting at us. So we run off. They catch us. They round us up. And, you know, they like, thought you was going to come to Detroit, right? Talking that fuck the police shit. And can't come through Detroit talking that. We should run y'all to jail, you know what I mean? We should lock y'all up. And blah, blah, blah. And we like listening, And he said, but if y'all got a couple of pictures, y'all got a couple 8x10s, y'all signing for my daughter, we ain't gonna have no problems. So, you know, we was pissed, but we was like, man, Easy was like, get them t-shirts, get them everything they need. Come on. And so, you know, we signed the shit, you know, reluctantly. You know,
but the concert's over.
Yeah, they turned the concert out.
Yeah.
I mean, they ran us off stage after 3 songs.
And they got pictures.
And then they got pictures and they got autographs for their daughters and they let us go.
So there were some police officers that actually did like that song, that did listen to it, is what he's saying. It's really interesting. If you watch the movie Straight Outta Compton, which I think was a phenomenal movie, by the way, Ice Cube's son plays Ice Cube, and he does look like Ice Cube, okay? But there's a scene in that movie where they're at a concert and they're performing, and they're told from the get-go, don't you play that song, the, you know, F the Police song. So what do? They play a song anyway. I don't blame them again. Like, that's censorship. Roger, I'm gonna have to read your comment. I can't see new comments in StreamYard. Thank you for the super chat. FBI didn't care. Just popo to them. Please do something. Just popo to them. Please do something. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, if you guys haven't seen Straight Outta Compton, you should watch that movie. I thought it was really good. And I'm picky about biopics. I am picky. And I'll say this, don't make any more Whitney Houston movies if you can't do it right, okay? Just don't. Just stop it. Just stop.
They just say you can't come to Detroit with that bullshit.
Wow. So it was only Detroit? That was the only place that fucked
Cincinnati, they ran us off.
Really?
Man, they would have us. Before every concert, a sergeant or a captain or somebody would come in with a city ordinance of what was obscene in their city, in their town, and what could be said on stage and what couldn't be said. And if you say any of this or do any of this, we will arrest you after your performance.
Wow.
Straight up censorship. Now, I have that letter, so I want to show it to you guys. I'll show you the LA Times first, because I didn't know this either. In 1989, the LA Times actually wrote an article about the FBI sending that letter to NWA. So it says here, Compton rappers versus the letter of the law. FBI claims song by NWA advocated violence on the police. Now, this was October 5th, 1989, and it was written by Steve Hochman. It says First Amendment activist and a member of Congress said this week that the FBI may have stepped out of line with a letter accusing a Compton rap group of encouraging violence and against disrespect for the law enforcement officers. Now, this is coming from Representative Don Edwards. The FBI should stay out of the business of censorship. I agree, Don. I agree. Edwards, whose subcommittee is charged with monitoring FBI actions regarding U.S. citizens, stopped short of saying a full investigation of the matter would be launched, but pledged, "We're going to try to find out more about this letter." In a one-page letter which surfaced last week after New York-based rock journalist Dave Marsh spoke of it during an anti-censorship rally in Washington, Alaric wrote, "Advocating violence and assault is wrong, and we in the law enforcement community take exception to that action." So let me highlight something here. Advocating violence and assault is wrong, and we're in the law enforcement community take exception to such action. What about all the other songs? What about all the other songs that advocated for such action? What about that? Rock songs that may have advocated for such action? Twisted Sister? What about that? This is something I want you to think about. That's why I said it wasn't so much about what they were saying, it was who they were saying it was about. They were talking about the police, and that was the problem with them that they saw. The FBI representative then recounted that 78 law enforcement officers were feloniously slain in the line of duty during 1988, and recordings such as the one from NWA are both discouraging and degrading to those brave, dedicated officers. That's BS. You could say this about multiple forms of music, and it doesn't even have to be a particular genre. Like, there's different songs. I can pull up right now my Spotify playlist, and maybe we could find a couple of songs here and there. Like, oh, I guess they shouldn't play this song either, right? Though he did not mention any song by the name of the letter, Ulrich told the Times he was referring to blank the police. NWA's brutal account of tension associated with police gang sweeps that have become common in the LA area. The song, set in a mock courtroom where members of the group act as judge and prosecutors, is peppered with lewd and vulgar language, punctuating a string of grievances about police misconduct in Compton. They were more focused on the language that was used in the song than they were about the police misconduct in Compton. And this is the part that people really need to take in, right? They're more upset about the language that they use than they were about police officers beating the crap out of Black people. That's what they were more upset about. The song was written by group member Ice Cube and is on NWA's 1 million selling debut album, Straight Outta Compton. It includes lyrics such as, "So police think they have the authority to kill a minority, and Ice Cube will swarm on any in a blue uniform." And it says, and when I finish, there's going to be, I can't say that on YouTube, but you guys can read that. Ulrich said he had not heard the whole song, but had read lyrics which had been sent to him by concerned law enforcement officials. And this is where you have to pause. He said he had not heard the whole song. Problem number 2. He took buzzwords, just a little clip, a little snippet of lyrics that was sent to him and said, "Oh no, we can't have this." Didn't even hear the whole song. The letter concluded, I want you to be aware of the FBI's position relative to the song and its message. I believe my views reflect the opinion of the entire law enforcement community. Well, apparently that wasn't true because Ice Cube told you there were even cops who liked the song. So let's see that letter, shall we? I'm going to put it up here on the screen so you can see this as well. I'm going to make this bigger for you peeps. Let's see. Boop. Okay, so you can see here it says U.S. Department of Justice, Federal Bureau of Investigation. This was August 1st, 1989. This is sent to Dear Mr. Manganiello at Priority Records, that's Hollywood, California. Hope you guys can see this okay. I know it's a little blurred. Maybe I can make it a little bit bigger. Nope. Go back. Okay. A song recorded by the rap group NWA on their album entitled Straight Outta Compton encourages violence against and disrespect for the law enforcement officer and has been brought to my attention. Censorship police. I understand your company recorded and distributed this album, and I'm writing to share my thoughts and concerns with you. Advocating violence and assault is wrong, and we in the law enforcement community take exception to such action. Violent crime, a major problem in our country, reached an unprecedented high in 1988. So now it's the song's fault. 78 law enforcement officers were feloniously slain in the line of duty during 1988, 4 more than in 1987. Law enforcement officers dedicate their lives to the protection of our citizens. No, they don't. They protect citizens that are rich, citizens that have money. They don't protect poor people. They don't protect Black poor people. They protect capital. They protect property. Law enforcement officers dedicate their lives to protection of our citizens, and recordings such as the one from NWA are both discouraging and degrading to these brave, dedicated officers. If they were so brave, they wouldn't shoot first and ask questions afterwards. They were so brave. Notice how, again, there's more focus on the language, the things that were said about law enforcement than there is about what law enforcement has done to people in communities like Compton. And it ends here. Music plays a significant role in society, and I wanted you to be aware of the FBI's position relative to this song and its message. I believe my views reflect the opinion of the entire law enforcement community. And it's signed there, Milt Alerich, Assistant Director, Office of Public Affairs. First of all, who is Milt? You know what I mean? Like, who is he to basically say this is how everybody feels in the law enforcement community without giving their okay on it? He doesn't know. But this is the letter, folks. And there's the date, August 1st, 1989. Federal Bureau of Investigation, and it was sent to Priority Records to Mr. Manganiello. So there you have it. So the whole censorship thing with the FBI, this has been going on for a long time.